everybody, welcome to Olivia Connects. My name is Olivia Daniels, and I'm super excited to be here with Debbie Fazio today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Hello, I'm Debbie Fazio. I am the CEO and founder of Precious Moments Babies. We've been supporting families from their journey through pregnancy, childbirth, and parenting for the last 15 years.
If you guys are excited to learn about postpartum, what happens when you or your loved one has a baby, this is definitely the episode for you. So give us a big thumbs up if you're excited. So now we're going to do a quick Q&A. This is more for new moms and just things I found online that surprised me or I've never heard of. So I just want to get your feedback. Maybe you've never even heard of these things. So let's see if we can all learn something together. And I wrote them down, yes, because there's quite a bit. Okay, number one, is it possible for a woman's stomach to split? And what does that mean exactly?
It's not something that's common or normal. However, you can definitely have a separation of your abdomen through pregnancy because your belly is growing and they need to make room for that growth. But when they're talking about belly splitting, it's probably the separation of the abs that they're talking about.
It's a little scary, isn't it?
Well, it's not anything painful. We all go through it. There is, different experts out there that actually can help you exercise them back to being closed, but it's not something that's life-threatening.
Okay, and how would someone know if their stomach is split?
There is a test that they can do,
but
I'm not an expert in that. However, we do have some contacts. But there is, I believe it's called diastasis recti, where your separation happens, and it's really just to make room for the growing baby. But usually after childbirth, it does close, and doesn't often close all the way, and then you can use some physiotherapy to help you close it.
Oh, good to know. Nothing to panic about, girls.
For sure.
Is hair loss common or to be expected for moms after birth?
It's common. It doesn't happen to everyone, but again, all those changes in hormones, a little bit of an increase in stress, you can certainly even see that happening during pregnancy, but postpartum as well. Again, nothing to be concerned about.
Because it eventually everything goes back to normal, right?
It does, absolutely. Usually after the first year, you can see your body coming back to its regular size and shape and form, and although it never goes back to its original, it definitely starts to become more familiar.
Yeah, because I was just thinking all those girls out there that have fine hair, they're probably just panicking at that question, and rightfully so. So
absolutely.
Okay, next question. Does continuous bleeding occur after you give birth? I've read that it happens for about a month.
Yeah, it can happen for 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer. It's usually heavier in the first couple of weeks and then turns into like a light period or spotting.
So you don't have a period for 9 months and then suddenly you make all of that up in the month after.
Yes, and that's just the lining shedding.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's just the interior lining of the uterus that's shedding. And again, nothing to worry about. It's common. Unfortunately, you do need to get some of the big granny pads to accommodate for the flow. But nothing to worry about. It will subside usually within that 4 to 6 weeks. And
do contractions happen after you've given birth? Like, I've watched so many videos where people are breastfeeding and
yes,
they're experiencing contractions.
Absolutely. So the evolution of the uterus is basically it just contracting back to its normal size. Breastfeeding helps it to happen quicker and faster. So the odd thing is that while you're breastfeeding, you can actually feel your cramping almost like you're having a period or as if you were in labor, but it's not as bad as when you're in labor.
Right.
It's like a really, really bad period cramp.
As if we haven't been through enough, we're just going to keep experiencing it afterward. Yes. And when does your stomach go back to normal? Does it ever?
Well, mine's been 20 years and I'm still waiting for that to happen. I think everyone's different, and I will be honest, we have the exposure from social media right now where someone has a baby and then a week later they're posting a picture of their six-pack.
Yeah. Like, are they at the gym every day or have they just handed their baby off to somebody?
I mean, likely what's happened is that person was in top physical shape before they had their baby. They probably were in top physical shape during their pregnancy and then probably got right back on track right after. And it's very, very few and far between. So often when I see that on social media, it kind of gets to my heart because I think every mom then sees that and wonders, why am I still holding baby weight 20 years later? And, 2 weeks later, this woman looks great. So I think putting some realistic expectations on ourselves is the best way to do it, and not look at what's happening on social media. Realistically, it can take a few years before your body gets back to normal, even if you are on a proper program in terms of exercise and nutrition.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. I guess you can compare it to your genes, like how was your mother? That'll kind of give you an idea. And if you don't like what that result was, then maybe you have to work a little harder.
Absolutely.
To keep yourself happy, I guess.
Absolutely. And be wary too that after baby is born, you don't want to be going on a diet, especially if you're breastfeeding. You need that nutrition for yourself to heal, but you also need that nutrition to keep up with the milk supply. So generally, you need about 500 extra calories per day to produce the milk that your baby needs.
Good to know.
Yeah, so a lot of people who don't understand that, they think, okay, baby's born, I can go on a diet and stop eating, and now they're having problems keeping up with milk, or they're having problems physically with healing. So make sure you're still eating a proper diet afterwards.
So now you guys can binge eat whatever you want.
Within reason.
Within reason, of course. But I know a lot of new moms that don't even have time to eat for themselves.
They don't. And you know what? That's something, again,
get help. And you need more calories,
yes.
And they're not even eating their actual calories.
That's right. So a couple things is, nutrition shakes. Eat what you can eat food-wise, but maybe add a couple of nutritional shakes in there that you can increase your calories with. Yeah. Lots of water, really important to keep hydrated. Get a personal chef if you can afford it.
Or one of those home services.
Where they drop off food. Yeah.
So
one of the great things that one of our clients did, I thought it was great, was before baby was born, she actually had a last party. It was a hurrah where she invited all her friends over. And they had bought an entire grocery store full of prepped foods. So they had 10 different recipes laid out, all the food that they needed to make the recipes. They had wine and snacks for their friends, and the entire party that night was meant to make all these foods that mom would keep in her freezer. So,
that's so helpful.
Yeah, a little twist on it. Instead of having a baby shower, having a food shower. And then that way there's all these frozen healthy meals in the freezer
ready
that
to go.
Parents can just pull out and eat.
At least for a month or something.
Exactly.
That's so helpful. So I hope you guys took notes. And before I let you go, Debbie, if there was another job you could do, what would it be and why?
Well, at this point, I'm very fortunate that I get to do all the different types of job that I want to do through having my own business. But when I think back as a child, I always wanted to be a famous actress. So that would probably be the one thing that I would love to do if I had a chance to.
Well, this is a segue into what could possibly be an alternate career.
Absolutely.
If you learned something new, share this video with your friends. Like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comment box, and hopefully we can get a community going so we can help support one another. Take care, and we'll see you next week.